Sometimes the world around us becomes so familiar that we no longer notice what lies beneath it. Plants, people, buildings, they exist right before our eyes. Yet the land beneath our feet is filled with an extraordinary mystery, layer after layer, one unknown fact after another. Even from above the surface, we have little knowledge of its inner world. Let us dive into that depth today, not with the help of any excavator or scientific explanation, but with the help of our imagination. Gradually, we will traverse the different layers of the soil, discovering history, nature, and science. We will realize how deep a person becomes helpless, and when that depth holds an invaluable treasure trove of knowledge. The outermost layer, where we move and live, is called the crust. Beneath this slightly thick layer lies the fascinating story of the earth. A little deeper, about 1 to 2 feet below, we can see the homes of mice, ants, and various small animals. Human graves are usually 6 feet deep. Even when you walk over them, many people don't think about how much history lies beneath it. The mummy of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun was found at a depth of about 13 feet. The discovery of this tomb, which is about 3,000 years old, indicates an ancient civilization and hidden treasures. Metal detectors work up to a depth of about 20 feet, and metal objects can be discovered underground at this level. And about 23 feet below lies an unimaginable tactic of the Vietnam War: secret tunnels. Vietnamese soldiers built them to avoid the attention of American soldiers. About 65 feet below, you will find the famous Catacombs of Paris, an underground burial ground containing the remains of about 6 million people. Once a symbol of death and fear, it now stands as a silent witness to the past. About 180 feet below, there is an underground agricultural farm in China, where crops are grown using artificial light. This attempt to produce food for people underground shows the possibility of an alternative future. Radioactive waste is stored at about 328 feet deep in the ground, nuclear waste, so that it cannot harm humanity. At about 346 feet deep, the deepest metro station of the city of Kiev, Ukraine, is located, Arsenala Station, which is an extraordinary example of engineering. A surprise awaits at a depth of about 400 feet. The deepest tree roots on earth have been discovered here. The roots of the African fig tree have penetrated deep into the earth. At a depth of about 720 feet, the Congo River flows, one of the deepest rivers on earth, a mystery to scientists. At about 950 feet, Japan's Seikan Tunnel extends through the seabed, connecting two cities via an exceptional railway. At about 1000 feet, a nuclear missile depot has been built, designed to be safe from a nuclear explosion. However, if an explosion were to occur at that depot, even this layer would not be able to protect it. At about 1403 feet lies the Dead Sea. It is the lowest landmass on Earth, so low that even the tallest buildings on Earth seem tiny next to it. At about 2300 feet lies the San Jose copper mine, where 33 workers were once trapped for 69 days. Their rescue operation created a buzz around the world. Approximately 3180 feet is the depth at which the main mining operations were carried out. Copper was extracted from here, which is valued not only as a metal but also as a symbol of human indomitable courage. At about 7215 feet lies Kurbera Cave, the deepest natural cave in the world. It is so deep that sunlight never reaches here, only silence and coolness prevail. At about 10,500 feet lies India's Kolar goldfields, where people have worked hard for years in search of gold. Behind every ounce of gold here is the blood and sweat of countless workers. At about 12,000 feet, a rare worm has been found that can survive despite intense heat, pressure, and lack of oxygen. At a depth of about 13,123 feet lies the Mopong gold mine, the deepest gold mine in the world. While working here, the temperature around the workers is about 66 degrees Celsius, which is unbearable for humans. Then we go even deeper, 29,031 feet, which is the same as the height of Mount Everest. And just below that is Challenger Deep, at a depth of 35,856 feet, the deepest point in the ocean. Not only is no sunlight allowed here, some animals don't even have eyes because light never reaches there. Then comes the deepest excavation in the history of the world, the Kola Super Deep Borehole. This excavation was carried out in Russia at a depth of about 40,230 feet or 12.2 kilometers. However, its diameter was only 23 centimeters. But the deeper the excavation was, the more problems arose. The equipment was melting under the intense heat and pressure. At one point, scientists were forced to stop the excavation. The pressure and temperature inside the earth are so high that human technology and capabilities are helpless there. Now the question is, what lies beneath it? The Earth's interior is basically divided into three layers: the crust, the core, and the infrasonic core. The crust is the uppermost layer of the Earth we know, with an average thickness of 5 to 70 kilometers. Below it begins the infrasonic core, which is about 2,900 kilometers thick. This layer contains molten rock, extreme heat, and a mixture of iron and nickel. The infrasonic core is further divided into two parts: the outer core, where the rock is liquid or semi-liquid, and the inner core, where the temperature reaches 5,000 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. It is so hot that it can be compared to the temperature at the center of the sun. However, the innermost part is the infrasonic core. It has two parts: the outer core, which is made of metal, and the inner core, which, despite being at such high temperatures, remains solid only due to enormous pressure. This core is where the Earth's magnetic field is created, which protects us from the sun's harmful solar storms and radiation. This deepest layer is what keeps our Earth alive and safe. Today's amazing journey ends here, but more such unknown stories and information will be discussed again.